This episode is brought to you by Portland Distro. If you love underground music and movies, go to portlanddistro.com for licensed shirts, vinyl, CDs, and more. Go to portlanddistro.com. Plug in the discount code MikeHill666 for 15% off at portlanddistro.com. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. It's Mike Hill with another episode of Everything Went Black. This week we have my dear friend, Champ Morgan. If we can take anything away from the last 15 plus months, is that friendship and family is probably the most important thing to us all. I mean, the last year or so, we've all been lonely, just desperate, filled with anxiety and fear, and having a good base of people around is crucial. Now, I don't frivolously mention this. The reason why is I consider Morgan to be one of those close friends. I've known him for, I hate to even think about how many years we've known each other. And we played many shows together, stayed at his place a few times down in Texas. And I've gotten to know him really well, and he is one of the inner circle of friends that I have. And furthermore, I've really gotten a chance to observe his development over the years, all the way back as frontman for Kill a Client. He's got some newer projects, which are awesome. Derelict Satellite, BLK OPS, of course, which I've interviewed him about that band. And most recently, Triage, which is a brutal grindcore band, and their new record was just released. Now, there's supposed to be music playing underneath this, but their songs are so short that we're just going to have to deal without the introduction music and just my voice and onto the episode. Here we go. Check it out.
Dude, right? I'm going to tell you the fucking secret right here.
Okay.
If you go to Best Buy online and search the hot and or clearance items and then just put in kettlebells.
Yeah.
They are half the price of any other place, and the shipping is free no matter how big the fucking kettlebell is.
No shit.
Yeah, I got a 70-pound kettlebell for $99 free shipping.
Damn, that's actually really good, man. That's way cheaper than anywhere else. I mean,
yeah,
I'm talking like over $100 for a 70-pound kettlebell, like anywhere else, like $150 or something like that, probably.
Oh yeah, I mean when you go to Kettlebell Kings, their 45-pound kettlebell is $109.
Yeah.
And they charge you an ass ton of fucking shipping.
Oh, dude, forget about it. I mean, to try to like ship that, I understand why they would charge a lot of money to ship a cannonball across the country.
Yeah, with a fucking handle on it.
With a handle.
But yeah, dude, it's I didn't believe it. And my friend's like, hey, she's like she used to train with me, and she's a firefighter and EMT, and she lifts all the time. And she's like, I just found this fucking crazy shit on Best Buy. And I was like, what? She was like, yeah, just go search it. And then I've been picking them up like one or two every couple of weeks off of there, just building up my stock. And I'm training hard with big kettlebells now for fucking on the cheap, son.
That's nuts, man. It's because I think of Best Buy as an electronics place mostly.
Yeah, I mean, I did too, and I didn't believe it. And she was like, no, look it up right now, and just look it up on your phone, because I was at work, and dude, they got like all kinds of weight benches and all kinds of shit in there, but the kettlebells are fucking half the price of anybody else in free shipping.
It's only been until recently that I actually live someplace that has room where I can actually lift in my dwelling, and so yeah, I got a couple of bells. I got some, couple other items, but yeah, that's good to know.
Oh yeah, I'm like stocking up, like trying to figure out like, all right, so now that shit is fucking starting to open up, what's the biggest pair I can take on tour?
Yeah, that's like why I got them, because I was working out at places that had kettlebells, like I was at Gavin's gym for a while when I was living in Brooklyn, and he had the whole setup over there, And then going on tour, I just needed something to, get some strength training in and whatever. And that's why, I mean, it would have been kind of useless to have like this big arsenal of weights in my apartment in New York, but now that I live out in Jersey, I got room. And, probably in the next like year or so, next couple of years, I'm probably going to be buying a house down here. So I'll hopefully, have a basement or a garage or something to outfit,
Oh, you're going 100% full Jersey, buying a house and everything.
Yeah, dude, it's, fucking, I should have moved out here years ago, man. I mean, for like the last 4 years, the band has been operating out of New Jersey, and like everyone, a lot of people I know left New York. It's like way cheaper and less stressful to live out here, and it's quiet, and I don't have to worry about getting stabbed in the street or people robbing, breaking into my car or anything like that. And
Yeah, it's the same thing here in Austin. It's just like, we're gonna rent our house. We're moving out to Bastrop, which is like 35, 40 miles out, and it's like a little small. Unfortunately, Tesla is building their factory out there, but
right.
We'll be out there like probably spend 10 or 15 years and then rent that house too, and then just become slumlords.
Slumlords. Yeah, the whole owner of property thing is like a new concept for me, and because like, as I've been living in New York or a city for most of my life, and it's just impossible. And I got things situated right now where I got everything pretty comfortable right now in my life, and I think I'll be able to make a move like that. It'll be cool.
Yeah, you'll love it too, dude. You already know, like getting out and away from all the fucking bullshit makes a huge difference in your just your mental state.
Oh yeah, peace of mind, man. It's and like I said, I know a ton of people that live out here already, and if I have to go into the city or Brooklyn or anything, it's only like 40 minutes to get in and out of the city. Depending on what time of day you try to make that journey,
Yeah, and that's the way this is right now here. With Bastrop, it's literally a straight line from Bastrop right into Austin. And this town has changed so fucking much. Like everything that my wife and I both, like everything we moved here for is like gone.
I can relate to that, man. I even see it. The first time I went to Austin was like, I don't know, in the mid 90s maybe. And shit, man, that's like over 20 years ago at this point. So yeah, it's like even that first change like around 2000, I think, like when I first went out there, there was hardly anything in Austin. There was like emos was there was a couple tattoo parlors, and not much, and then it became like a destination for a lot of people. And then it kind of had its heyday where I thought it was like really cool out there. And then I haven't been to Austin in over a year, at least a year, definitely over a year. And I can't even imagine what it's like now. I just hear reports from different people, how much it's changed.
Oh, the homeless issue here is insane. Completely insane. And so many people, like all of the tech industry from like the West Coast and shit is moving here. Property values, property taxes are, there's fucking houses in you've been in my neighborhood,
Yeah.
There's houses in my neighborhood that are renting right now for $2,400 a month.
Wow.
And people are fucking snatching them up. It's insane, but like all the shit that used to be cool here, it's just completely gentrified, and all these people from everywhere else are just like, oh, we're gonna move to Austin, and we want to make a Texas. Literally saw a news story on it, and this lady and her husband moved here, and they were tech industry people, but they just wanted to start fresh. So they thought that Austin was the place to be, and they opened a store in the most expensive part of town. And it's like, she's like, we sell, you know, what the hell was it? Like something done, you know, like, what do you call it? It's like little kitsch shit, you know, it's just like, keep Austin weird and
Oh
Texas,
man.
and it's got boots on it because it's Texas, and it's just like you have no clue. You have no fucking clue. And people are like, keep Austin weird, man. Austin hasn't been weird in decades.
I mean, I now you know what it was like living in Brooklyn all those years, man. It's like, I mean, I didn't grow up in the city. I grew up I'm a suburbs guy. You know what I mean? I grew up like up just above Westchester County. Like I'm not a urban type of guy really, but I spent a long, many decades living in Brooklyn, and I saw how that changed too, man. It's like, but it's like what happens. It's like this weird, just kind of like parallel universe that ends up happening because these people move to New York. Oh yeah, I want to live in Brooklyn, and they have this idea. They come from some other part of the country. Then they try their New York experience, but then it's like we want it to be like we remember it back in our, and they create this other world, you know what I mean? And it's just a fucking drag, and just everyone's unhappy and drives the property value up. They live in a neighborhood for a year and then they leave, and then someone else takes their spot, and it gets even lamer. And it's funny. A few years ago, I interviewed Freddie from Madball, and he had some stuff to talk about as far as the changes in neighborhoods. And his take on it was like, yeah, people come to live in these neighborhoods, but they don't respect the neighborhood. To them, it's like this playground. They can go there and wild out and not really have any kind of consequence to living in this neighborhood. Yet there's families that they're pushing out, and there's people that have had maybe a couple of generations living in those neighborhoods, and then suddenly they become the other. You know what I mean? Because they don't fit into the demographic of these new people moving in, and it's just a bummer, And it's probably, it sounds like that's exactly what's happening out in Austin.
Yeah, that is 100% what's happening. Like that thing, like people want to come here because it's wild and crazy Austin, and it's like, it's this, like in Deep Ellum, and you've been down there. I mean, you've played down there. It's like they build a 12-story apartment condo complex right next to Mohawk, which is an outdoor venue, and Stubbs, which is a giant outdoor venue. Yeah. They use the location as a selling point for the condos. And then when the condos are full, they sue the city because the music is too loud. And they win. So now you can only have shows on weekends that can only go till midnight, and weekdays can only go till 10.
That's the antithesis of the whole thing,
Yeah, I mean, there was like people that moved here that moved behind Terry Black's barbecue, and then sued the city because their neighborhood smelled like barbecue.
It's
and it's these fucking California people and Portland people, and it's just like, oh, I'm going to move there and complain. It's like, what? Don't move here then. If you want to, you want this city to be like the city that you left, then don't leave the city that you left.
That's always been my commentary on that. It's like, do you remember the Knitting Factory in Broadway?
Yeah, the old venue in New York. Yeah.
Now, for years and years and years, that place was like a staple for like kind of avant-garde stuff. But then they would also have, like rock and like metal shows there. And, you might see like Michael, Gira play there or something like that, and John Zorn possibly, it has 3 levels. There's like 3 venues. No one gave a shit. They just would do their shows, not bother anybody. Everything's fine. That neighborhood was like kind of rough around the edges for a really long time, kind of buck wild, like back in the 90s. And then as things slowly changed, that lawsuits started, and then you couldn't even stand outside of the venue. You had to like You literally can only stand right in front of the venue. If you stood in front of anyone else's like doorway, there would be complaints because they hired these like knucklehead like bouncers to keep everyone in line. And that's when I realized it was over, man. I'm like, man, this
What?
fucking city's beat, man. It's like this is
That
the
is
end.
that is fucking ridiculous. Like, how
Yeah,
does that even work?
dude,
Like,
it,
you
it
hire security to keep people in a line. Like,
yeah
fuck
to
off.
keep everyone out. You can't stand in someone else's doorway in that neighborhood. And then of course, the venue got venue closed. Maybe I don't know the details behind any of it, but I'm sure it had to do with real estate and their lease, and and now like in some respects, a legendary venue is gone, and now it's like like some rich jerk off lives in there now, probably.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so you and I, man, we both got the idea. Go somewhere quiet, no one bothers you. You do your thing, and everywhere else you do these missions into these different cities to do your thing, and you go back to your lair. It's kind of like the way I'm living life right now.
Yeah, I mean, and my wife, she was born and raised in a small town and outside of Tulsa, and she's just like, I don't understand why we just don't move to a super small town. I'm just like, well, one, you own your own salon.
Yeah,
You're driving to one place. Like half of my life is driving to different locations, because of my job.
right.
So if we move 45 minutes out of town and I got to drive two hours away to a job, now that's a 3-hour drive and a 3-hour drive home, just because now it's time to live in a tiny little place. But
You're,
I'm
you're
getting closer. I'm getting closer and closer to accepting that, and just being like, you know what, fuck this shit.
yeah. There's a lot to consider, man. And yeah, it's like for 10 years from my end. It's like I've been I've been thinking, considering moving out of the city. Like I had plans. I was gonna move here. I was gonna move to. I thought about moving up the Hudson for a while, and because that's where I grew up. I grew up in the Hudson Valley, and that's this particular town that I had my sights on was close to where I grew up. But then, ironically, as soon as I started looking at this town, there was a there was a fucking article written in the New York Times Sunday edition about this town called Beacon being like the next place to live. Like suddenly it became like overrun with people trying to escape New York City, and it's on the Metro North train. It's right on the Hudson River, and there's like this art scene there and all this other stuff. So then I just abandoned that idea, and I moved out to Jersey.
Yeah, as soon as you see that article, you're like, fuck.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah, like, just fucking tear that fucking lottery ticket up. Like, yeah, got an escape plan. Well, they figured it out. Fuck.
So you're all vaccinated and everything, right? I remember we were talking about this.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I
Did you?
got the I got the fucking 5G fucking chip in my brain. I got fucking nanobots cursing through my body.
Which one did you get? Pfizer or Moderna or the Johnson one? Which one did you get?
I got the Moderna one, and it seems to most of the people that I know got the Moderna. Like, most of the males that I know got the Moderna, and most women that I know got the Pfizer, which is kind of odd, but it's probably just a coincidence.
I got the Pfizer.
You
So
got Pfizer?
yeah, I just got my second dose last week. And,
Did it knock you in the dirt for a day?
well, it was mostly fatigue and headaches, and then I was fine. And then last night I did some training, and I got real like gassed out, and I had another headache. So there's some lingering for like a few days, and it kind of that's kind of what happened with the first shot. But today I just did like a kettlebell workout, and I feel fine. I think I'm okay now. But it was nothing major. Like it didn't, like I wasn't like I didn't have like a fever or anything like that.
Yeah, I like the first shot. It made a big fucking lump in my deltoid.
Damn, really?
Yeah, but it wasn't even like it was really even super painful. It just like swelled up kind of big.
Huh.
And then I was fine. Like I worked out when I got home, like put in like a 2-hour fucking hard workout, no problem. And then I got the second shot, and I ended up getting it at night because my shit got rescheduled. So I got it at like 8:15, 8:20 at night. Woke up the next day, felt 100% fine, got up, fucking went to work. And, about 10 or 10:30 in the morning, I've already been at work like 3.5 hours. And I started like feeling like kind of weird and like my balance was off.
Oh man.
And I started like feeling like super fucking tired. I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? And then like every 30 minutes I would start like feeling kind of weird, like in the, like a flow of that same thing, like, like kind of, I don't even know how to explain it, but I started getting like super tired, like really fatigued, and I felt off balance, and like I could start feeling like my heart like beating in my chest.
Oh wow, damn, that must have been scary.
Like when you start doing, after you get done doing like a really hard workout,
Yeah,
and you can like feel your heart pulsing when you're trying to like bring yourself back down to earth. So I was like, fuck. And I made it most of the day, but I ended up coming home because I just couldn't handle it anymore. And I just like came home and laid down on the fucking couch. And then I got super cold. I was like freezing, like teeth chattering, freezing. It's like May in Texas, and I'm wearing a fucking hooded sweatshirt.
Yeah.
And then I went to bed and like woke up at 5 a.m. when my alarm going off in a pool of sweat, like a giant wet spot of sweat on my bed. And then I felt completely fine. So it was like, it's like this weird cycle of like 24 hours of, total dog balls. And then like, oh, you're back to normal. There you go. Have a good day. Thanks for playing.
Yeah. It's so interesting how different every experience really is. Cause I talked to, it's like a question that comes up, especially now, where everyone's getting, well, not everyone, but like people I know at least are getting vaccinated, and everyone's reactions are different, man. It's like my parents, they're like older, man. They're like their late 70s, 80s. Nothing at all happened to them. They got the shot. Their arm hurt a little bit, and nothing, right? I had some side effects. You had some side effects. Some of my coworkers, had a variety of different side effects. And it's just so weird how all this stuff like plays out,
Yeah, this kid I work with, like his dad, his parents got vaccinated, and like his mom like got a little bit fatigued from the second shot, but like his dad, like nothing from the first shot, nothing from the second shot, like arm didn't even swell up, nothing, and this dude's like fucking 70.
Yeah, it's hard to explain, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's those nanobots affect people in different ways.
Well, let me since it's the second time you brought that up, let me ask you since you live in a very conservative state in Texas. What's the overall climate down there as far as vaccinations go? Are people embracing it, rejecting it? Do they think it's a conspiracy? Like what's up with that?
Well, this is Texas, so there's a little bit of all that. Most people that I know have gotten vaccinated because people just want shit to go back to fucking normal, like the rest of us adults.
Right.
But there are people that I do know. I mean, there's 2 guys I work with that just refuse to get it. And I don't understand. Both of them are married. Both of them have fucking children. And they're just like, not in my body. Like it's too new. How can you have something that new? I'm like, well, they've been studying some form of COVID now, for well over 2 decades. So it's not super new. And this isn't the 1920s. I mean, we're landing fucking robots on asteroids and then sending them home. these days technology's come a long way, including the medical field. So, let's just, do you miss going to restaurants? I do. So, do you miss going to the movies? Playing shows, band practice, touring, seeing your friends, dropping your kids off at school. Do you miss any of that? Oh yeah, you certainly do. Oh, but you can't get a simple shot because you just don't think you can trust it. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, most people that I know, like friends, I mean, there are definitely some, peripheral people in my life that who I expected to reject it, are rejecting it. But there's at least one person that I know that has this like bizarre anti-vax sort of viewpoint on this thing, and it actually surprised me, But hey, man, I'm with you. It's like I'm willing to roll the dice. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know how many more years I got left on this planet, man. But all I know is I want to try like to have like those years actually amount to something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be 50 in August. I should have been dead 100 times already in this life. So, if I'm gonna if I'm gonna roll the dice on getting a shot that makes me feel better and opens society back up, well then, saddle up and let's do this.
And also, I mean, though I've never served in the military, my understanding is that you guys have, routinely get vaccinated for all sorts of things. So they shoot you guys up with a bunch of stuff when you're in the military, right?
Oh yeah, and it's it's not just like, oh well, you get one little thing here. They mix like they you may get like 8 or 9 vaccinations at once in one dose. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not even like you're going to get a shot in your arm and you're going to take 4 steps forward and you're going to another shot. No, they just like mix you a cocktail and blast it in you either with the syringe or my personal favorite with air pressure guns. Which feels like somebody punching you in the fucking arm super hard. But there's no needle. It's literally like a high pressure blast, and they shoot the vaccine through your skin into your muscle with air.
That sounds brutal, man.
Yeah, it's fun. It's good times,
Well, speaking of brutality, man, you got this new fucking record, man, with Triage, and but before we talk about that, how many bands are you in now? I mean, you got Black Ops, you got Derelict Satellite, and now you got Triage. Is there anything I'm not missing?
I have all of that, and then I also have a Black Ops and Dining with Dogs. We kind of have a band that's together, like a super group, you could say.
Right on.
Which is going to be like longer, more kind of artful, Neurosis-esque, like long sumac style, kind of journey song, like longer format stuff that we're doing. And then I also have I started another thrash metal hardcore band with some kind of Texas hardcore all-star guys.
Wow.
So
what's that called?
I'm a busy dude. We haven't decided on a name yet. We had kind of done it before, and then everybody, of course, the plague and people's life gets in the way. So
I think you should call it the Champ Morgan Band.
Oh yeah, that.
Yeah, that would be a good name for that one.
Well, since I'm doing all these big workouts, I'm striving to look like Henry Rollins circa 1989, 1990. So I'm going to wear the tiniest shorts known to man, no shirt, no shoes, just stripped down.
The ironic thing is that I trying to schedule this conversation has been pretty fucking circuitous, to say the least.
It has been odd.
Yet you find time to play in all these fucking heavy metal bands.
Well, it's just how it plays out during the week. Because Black Ops, we practice on. Well, I mean, we haven't practiced in forever, Tesla, the car company Tesla, bought Austin Music Lab, gave everybody 10 days to get out, and then completely gutted the building.
Oh man.
So, probably, I don't know, there's probably at least 300 bands in there.
Jeez.
We're all thrown out into the streets and now there was already barely any place to practice. So now all of the places are taken up. The prices have gone through the roof. So I mean, we haven't practiced in months. That new Black Ops record, Roman numerals putting it out, it's going to press in the next week or two. So that record should be out like early summer, and we can't practice because we don't have anywhere to go.
That fucking sucks, man. That's
Yeah, I mean,
like the worst scenario.
and it's not just us. I mean, literally hundreds of. I mean, just people were just. You have 10 days to get your shit out. Oh, and don't worry about paying for the 10 days worth of rent. We'll cop that to you, and have a good day. It's like, what the hell, Keep Austin weird, man. It's the music capital of the world. Oh, but nobody has a place to practice.
That's a real drag, man. That reminds me of just shit that used to happen in New York all the time with like practice spaces and like, being moved around and things closing, and then they're making a restaurant here, and your guys are got to get thrown out. So that's a fucking bummer, man.
Yeah, I remember we had that conversation about practicing in New York years ago when you were down here, and it was like, what did you told me it was like some crazy price.
Yeah.
In the rehearsal room was tiny, and I was like, oh my god.
Well, the one place that I'm probably thinking about that I told you about, it's like I barely had enough room to stand up in this place. It was in this massive basement loft setup, right? It was downstairs. There was this huge like a 15-foot ceiling, right? But they built these rooms. They were like these like fucking like pens for cattle or something like that. And they only the rooms were literally the size of one piece of sheetrock. And so
Holy
that was
shit.
it. That was it. That one sheetrock. And then if you if you can't fit your stuff in there, what do you want from me? Go somewhere else. It's like, so it was me, Andrew, and Carson. Luckily, we were only a 3-piece at that time, all crammed into this space with all of our gear and the PA and a drum set, and you just kind of had to make it work, man. I always thought it was really funny that we practiced in a room like that. And then that was right around the time we did all these tours with like ISIS, and we would stand on these big stages, and like it's like I was used to being in a closet, you know what I mean, the whole time. And then I'm like, oh wow, going on tour, it's great. Look at this. There's like I can stand like all the way.
I could fucking stand up like
Yeah,
like a grown up. This is what grown up feels like. Jesus Christ. Yeah, you're not a small. I mean, Carson, you and Carson both are not small dudes. I mean, and Andrew, he was, tall, but he was sitting down. I mean, he's a fucking drummer, so
you got to get in the room though. You got to walk in.
Yeah.
You got to go through the door. It's like at some point you have to stand up. But yeah,
it's like you pay to practice and you get scoliosis for free. I mean, what else could you ask for?
But you got to remember too. It was Brooklyn, and a lot of the people there were like playing through like little combo amps and. One guy was like some electronic dude, and it wasn't really like there weren't a whole lot of like Marshall stacks there, And you can take that however you want, you know what I mean?
The Black Ops could never practice there.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a huge amount of a huge arsenal of cabs,
The one thing I do have to say about that spot, though, was that in a way, it was kind of like cool because there was that Death by Audio spot it was somehow connected to that place. They were two different operations, but those were good days, man, when Death by Audio was around. It was a cool venue. It was a DIY venue. It had like, like a very little bit artsier but that kind of ABC No Rio, like totally independent kind of thing, and it was connected to that effects company. And you know, early Tombs shows we played there a bunch of times. Like Wolves in the Throne Room played there. You know, that band Bison from not California, from Canada, played
Oh,
there.
that band was dope. I
Oh
saw those
yeah,
dudes a few times, man. That I love that band.
yeah, those are good friends of mine, man. We toured with them in Kailesa like a million years ago, and I stay in touch with those guys. And yeah, it was, and then of course that ironically got turned into the Vice offices, so they got thrown out too.
Oh God,
Yeah. So with
everything cool dies.
well, it's funny how it's like, oh, you know, Vice, you know, noisy music, you know, cool stuff, you know, like, I mean, I'm not a big fan of that world really, but like I acknowledge it as being like, you know, some kind of forward thinking potentially thing, you know, that's involved with music and that. So they come in and shut down a venue and throw all these bands out of their practice spaces so they can open an office, you know. It's just really ironic and funny to me, you know.
Yeah,
But whatever, you know. Who is actually in Triage?
Triage is basically uh, 3/4 of Kill the Client. It's like Kill the Client without the toxic person in the band. You know, it's me and Brian and Chris, and you know, it's basically just us picking up where when Kill the Client broke up. It's like right there, but version 2.0, better, faster, a little bit more Swedish death metal in the riffage on a lot of stuff, tone wise for sure. But I mean, it's really just the next level up from what used to be Kill the Client.
Yeah, I ordered the record and you know, I've listened to it a few times. It's definitely the Swedish tone is there for sure. And it's I didn't really I got to be honest with you, I didn't know when I first got the record, I didn't know who was in the band. I knew you were in it. But then I'm like, oh, that drumming, man. It's like, and then of course I looked on you know, the lineup, looked up the lineup, and Fajardo was on drums, and I was like, damn, that's, you know, for sure that sounds like Brian Fajardo's drumming.
That dude is a machine. That he, you know, I love Brian. He's the best. He's the most laid back dude you'll ever meet in your life, and like cares so much about playing fucking grindcore. Like, you know, everything has to be a certain way. You know, it has to be right. Practices all the fucking time. You know, doesn't have an attitude about anything. You know, you would think like being literally one of the best drummers in this fucking business that there would be an attitude hiding in there somewhere, and there's not. You know what I mean? And that's the most refreshing thing. Like just being in a band with that dude, because you know he's gonna bring it. You know, he's gonna bring it 150% every single time, with absolutely no attitude and a skill level that you can't even fathom.
Yeah, I was pretty stoked when I was out on tour at Warm Rot all those years ago, and Brian was playing in Phobia, and that was definitely one of the high points of that little run we did together. Was watching Fajardo destroy the drums every night.
One of my favorite things about watching Brian play is like he's playing the most intense shit and looks like he's like bored doing his taxes. You know, there's like no facial expression change, and the dude's like doing the most amazing shit. You know, it just always makes me laugh.
So how long has the band been in existence?
At this point, uh, probably a year and a half, maybe something like that. I mean, Brian and Chris started jamming again, and then they had a bunch of songs, and Chris hit me up and was like, "Hey, man, like Brian and I are jamming, and you know, we want you to come do vocals." And I was like, "Fucking hell yeah!" You know, and at the time, you know, there was no Plague, so but none of the timing worked out, so I didn't get a chance to go up there very often. But then they're like, all right, well, we recorded it. Here's all the songs, figure out all the vocals and everything, and then we can record it, and then we'll figure out practice and playing shows. So I went up there and recorded 13, basically wrote and recorded 13 songs in one day.
That's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, I had like all the lyrics. We just had to like.
All right, yeah, I was gonna say, bro, that's like to write lyric. I mean, that's like, you like must have took like Adderall or something like that to come up with that shit. I'm like, damn. But
yeah,
right.
I mean, there was two songs, pretty much two songs that I wrote on there, but everything else I had. I try to write constantly. I'm always typing lyrics and shit into my phone. Some of it's fucking straight terrible, but a lot of it, there may be just a song title, or sometimes I write out entire things, and then one song may be perfect and workable, and then there may be two or three songs that just get cut into pieces that make another song. It just depends. It just depends on what I have. But I mean, I recorded 13 songs for the Triage record that day, and 2 songs for the and I was there for Takafumi Masabora's record too. I did all that in one day.
Jesus, man.
Yeah. And the two songs for Takafumi, I wrote one of those while I was there, and one I had in the bank. So it was a crazy day.
Yeah, that what you just described as far as lyrics go, that's pretty much what I do, man. I like pretty much every day I write something down in a book. I have like a series of those little composition notebooks, and like I try to write whatever, because I know that at some point I'm going to need material. You know what I mean? And,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so it's like any clever fucking wordplay I can come up with, I just write it down, and it might be a title or whatever, just like you, same thing. And then you at least have something to go off of, and it's like maybe something you wrote like 3 weeks ago, that piece fits with something else. I can never understand guys who just, I've seen this too, and like back in the 90s when I was, doing like recording with people, like dudes would show up with no lyrics, and I was like, who the fuck wants to work with that kind of pressure, man? And they just
and a lot of times the amount of pressure, and then like if there's no time to really work that over, like, I mean, what's the quality of what you're gonna kick out in just a couple of days?
Yeah,
like I want my shit to make sense, and I want it to be right and have a purpose and have a meaning. I mean, I don't write stupid songs. Everything I have, it really, I try to take pride in like the wordsmithing part of it. You know what I mean? Like the artistry of just the words that are used. And I don't think I could come in at the last minute and be like, oh, I just wrote this amazing masterpiece, and only 14 more songs to go. Like,
I would never want to operate like that. Actually, Eric Rutan was telling me a story about a band, apparently a very well-known band that was on one of these gigantic labels that are out there, and the singer had quit while, like, I guess they were on their way down, and the guy quit right before they would record the album. So the band came down without the singer. Right. Eric's like, where's your singer? Oh, he quit. Right. They phoned up some other guy. Right. He flew down there, and the singer that quit is like, oh yeah, by the way, you can't use any of my lyrics. So whoever you got coming in's got to start from scratch. Right. So this dude shows up, doesn't know any of the songs. Right. Maybe they sent him demos or something or whatever. And he wrote the entire album while in the studio.
Wow.
That's fucking pressure, man.
That's extreme pressure.
Yeah.
But the thing, I will say this about Eric Rutan, that new Cannibal Corpse record is fucking awesome.
Dude, I can't stop listening to it, man. It's like one of my favorite albums by them. You know,
It's like a Saturdays. I train in my garage, and I train Thai boxing with a couple of guys. Uh, Nate Garrett from Spirited Drift that used to be in Gate Creeper. He comes by and trains, and Jason that's in Deep Cross, and then my friend Mike Wilchester that I've known forever, and he's been in a whole bunch of bands. Like we just beat on each other and work out, but 9 times out of 10, that Cannibal Corpse record's being played. So, at some point we usually train from like 11 in the morning till like 1:30 or 2 in the afternoon.
cool.
We do like long sessions, but that Cannibal record's always getting played.
So next time I come down to Austin, I should bring my gloves and shin guards, right? Is that what you're trying to say?
100%.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's so cool to be able to do that on the road, man. It's like, yeah, I mean,
or we do what we've been talking about for 10 years. Tombs, Kin Mode, Black Ops, we just tour together and train every day. We can also swing Oxbow in there because I've been talking about, me and Eugene have been talking about kicking each other's ass forever. So,
it's funny, man. It's like, I'm a huge fan of Eugene's, man. Like I love his writing, I love his music and Oxbow and and Whipping Boy and I love listening to his podcast and he's just a fucking all around. He's like a Renaissance man. Like he's like this brilliant physical guy, creative, like all that stuff. And he's a nice guy on top of it, at least from my perspective. I'm sure there are people out there who probably have a different point of view, but I love Eugene, man. And like the thing that I find really funny is that the people who go see Oxbow, it's like, why would you fuck with a guy like that?
yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? It's like you and I, like the scene that we operate in has probably got like a little bit more like rougher like people, I guess, that would go to these types of shows. Yet I got to be honest, I've never really had any problems with anybody at shows. Yet Eugene has story after story after story of people trying to like start shit with him. I just don't get it.
I've had problems at shows. I've fought people at Kill the Client shows back in the old days, but since I quit drinking, I haven't fought a single person. So, there's a little bit of that, but I don't know. I don't think there would be any time in my life with any band I would ever go see that I would want to see that I would go see perform, even if the guy is in his underwear. I'm not going to try to grab his genitalia for any reason. I just don't feel the need in that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Especially someone like Eugene's a big fucking dude. You know what I mean? He's a big dude. He's doing his fucking thing on stage. It's like, oh, well, I'm going to grab this guy's balls. Like, what possesses you to do that? And then if you do that, you honestly should have no, like, well, what did you hit me for?
Well, that's like, yeah, I mean, that's the zone. It's like the minute you put your hands on somebody, you better expect there to be some kind of like, retribution or something like that. I mean, it's like,
yeah, no one's going to shake your hand after you fucking, try to crush their nuts.
Yeah, totally. But with all that said, I still don't get it, man. It's like, just forget about all the training and skill and martial arts expertise that he has. He's just a big fucking dude, man.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't fucking dream of doing it, of fucking with him at a show. I wouldn't dream of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. People just never forget that people are fucking stupid.
Yeah, but what's funny though, like confronting him on stage as the singer, right? I mean, you and I have both been at tons of shows where there's violence in the crowd, right?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, like that's more understandable to me than I mean, people, I mean, let's talk back in the day, like different types of crew types showing up and having fights, and then some guy gets like spin kicked, and then he doesn't like that, and then they get a fight, and then that kind of thing, but I almost feel like even at those types of shows, it was never really against the band. You know, it was not. It was very rare that somebody attacked someone on stage.
Right. There's
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I was thinking about that just the other day, and I was like, man, because I listen to Eugene's podcast all the time, every week, and I'm like, man, this fucking guy, like, it seems like every show you would see Oxbow, there would be some guy trying to fuck with this dude. And I was like, I remember the last time I saw them play in New York, I was like, oh, let me keep my eye out in the crowd here. Maybe someone's going to start some shit, and nothing happened, but like that's the impression you get, it's kind of funny.
Yeah. I mean, I remember reading a story. I don't remember if it was in Decibel. I don't remember where it was at, but it was about Eugene. They had come down here to Austin to play South by, and it's hotter than shit. Eugene's in his underwear, and like somebody tried to grab him. So he starts like, beating this dude's ass. Well, then security like jumps on him, and he ends up like whipping the shit out of like 5 security guards.
Yeah.
And then running down the alley, the alley to get away because they fucking called the cops. It's just like this. Why would you, I don't know. Like security guards were being rough and like really, instead of like trying to cut the situation down, like started trying to fight him. So, he just started blasting them.
Yeah, man. It's that, and that's kind of like the other, when you're in some strange town, and there's like a guy who's clearly a troublemaker, and you don't know what kind of ties that guy has with other people that might be at the show, or even, and a lot of times, and I'm thinking more about Boston when I lived there, that the security at these shows were connected with these like, different crews and whatnot, That's always a concern.
Yeah.
It's always a concern to have,
Yeah, because you got it ends up being like one security guard against like fucking 20 people because you don't know, who the fuck you're being an asshole to.
Yeah. Boston, that's a town that likes to fight, man. Jesus.
We've played there. I've been there a few times, and I've never had a single problem. I had a lot of fun in Boston. Never a single fight. Didn't get stabbed.
Well, that was a thing for a while too. That band, I don't know if you remember that band, Tree.
Yeah, Tree. Yeah.
That was like a thing for like a couple of years. How they would play at the Rat and someone would get stabbed, and then they weren't allowed to play in certain areas and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I remember seeing like what were those? There was like DVDs that came out that were called like the Boston Beatdown or some shit, and they were all like scene fights.
Yeah. that was much later actually. That was like circa like 2004, I think, the Boston Beatdown stuff, and that was when I was kind of on the outs with some of those dudes in Boston, and that was like a concern of a particular show we had in Boston. I remember when those came out, and yeah, I don't know. It's weird filming yourself committing felonies and trying to sell them. It's kind of a strange thing,
There's a thing called evidence.
Yeah.
I mean, Faith No More even wrote a song about it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, one of the things I always wanted to ask you is, how long are you still vegan?
Oh no, I've never really been vegan. I've cycled in and out of not eating meat a few times, but I've never been a vegan.
Oh, I remember that one time I was down there, and we went to get something to eat, and we went to some vegan hamburger spot.
Oh, Arlo's, yeah.
And that's why I thought you were a vegan, because you were like, you were taking me to this place, and I was like, oh, when in Rome, and I was like, oh, I never realized. I always thought, I didn't know if you were vegan or not, but yeah, that's interesting.
No, that burger, vegan or not, is one of the best burgers you'll ever eat in your life. And then Arlo's fucking rules, man. I love that place. They just opened a Lostwell. They have now Arlo's has a second food trailer, and it's at Lostwell.
Oh wow, damn, dude! I can't wait to get back down on the fucking road, man. It's all these things. It's like you think about take for granted, I guess, that I would be in a lot of these cities at least twice a year, you know, and I would see people. I would go to these places and have like a full life experience, you know. And now that I'm all vaccinated and things are starting to open up and we're, you know, talking about touring again, it's like I just can't wait to get back out there, you know, and do this stuff, you know, and see people, see you, you know, and go to Arlo's or whatever and just fucking live life, man.
Well, I should be seeing you pretty soon because the Decibel Beer Fest has been rescheduled now. So.
Oh, wait.
And you guys are playing that, right?
No, not that I know of. Are we on the flyer?
I thought you guys were on it anyway.
No. We you know why I think you thought that? Napalm Death is on that. And
yeah.
We were going to do that. We were supposed to be doing that tour with them last year. But their tour, I guess, the actual tour started after the beer fest. But so we're not playing that. But maybe I should go because that's one of the vows I made to myself is that in a post-pandemic world, I am no longer going to find excuses to not do things. You know.
There you go.
And it's like this weekend, I'm going down to Monster Mania in South Jersey. And
what is that? What is Monster Mania?
It's a horror festival. They have like, you know, they have like Tom Atkinson's there. You know, they got like the guy who played Pinhead from Hellraiser. And then they have,
cool.
Yeah, all these different vendors like selling DVDs and T-shirts and artwork. And the bass player of my band owns a T-shirt company, like printing company. So they have a table there where they're selling miscellaneous merchandise. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You should come down and hang out and everything. And it's outside. So I'm like,
even better.
Yeah. I'm like, you know what, man? Fuck it. The tickets were $13, man. You can't go wrong with something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah. That's insane.
So that's
Get
my
out of the
first
house,
foray.
see some spooky stuff.
Yeah, man. That's my first like foray into the world is this weekend, you know?
And that could be your next Necromaniacs podcast in the making right there.
That might not be a bad idea, man. I think, you know, we've been doing that weekly too. So, you know, I was trying to drag Mike down there with me too, but we'll see. You know, maybe we'll see if it's for him. It's a little bit more difficult because he needs to take the Jersey Transit to here. Then it's more coordination. You know, I don't know if he's so keen on getting on a public transportation, like on a train just yet. So we'll see.
Right.
But
yeah, I listen to your podcast. It's Wednesday, so I listen to your podcast and then the Metal Matters back to back every Wednesday morning.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Wait, do they still release on? Does Metal Matters still come out on Tuesday or Wednesday?
It comes out on Tuesday.
Okay. All right.
But I don't listen to. I always listen to yours first, and then that one is the second one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's why I like these go out on Wednesdays because I don't want to like interfere with I don't want to come out on the same day that they come out. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But I had questions about veganism, but I guess they're not relevant anymore.
Well, we can, we were supposed to talk about band stuff, and
I tried to talk about band stuff, and you're like, yeah, man, you're around for a year and a half. So have you guys actually played any shows?
No, we haven't played together yet, but we are getting ready to start practicing and writing a new record. I sent Chris like 11 or 12 songs worth of new lyrics, and now that all three of us are fully vaccinated, we're trying to schedule out me going to Dallas and getting some practices in and starting the writing process, and then once that starts rolling, I'll have to plan those Saturdays out, and then Black Ops, once we get a place squared away to practice, we'll start rolling again. That new record comes out early summer on Roman numeral, and the artwork, like we had Ethan Ethan from Primitive Man did the artwork, and it's insane. James Plotkin mastered it. It
Nice.
just sounds so huge and crazy. And we're stoked. One, I'm just happy just to be on Roman Numeral. Some of my favorite bands are on that label, and Paul is just the easiest dude to work with. I really dig that label. And him, he's the fucking best, man. There's a band on that label called Horsewhip. I don't know if you've ever fucking heard of them, but they put out one of my favorite records last year.
You told me about them, and I checked them out online, and yeah, it's cool. Definitely.
Yeah, love that fucking band.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of things going on right now band wise. It's just, everybody's kind of like waiting with bated breath for society to open back up, But I think some good shit's getting ready to happen.
Now, down in Texas, does it feel, well, actually, you guys are pretty much wide open down there, right?
Well, our awesome, I should say, ridiculous fucking governor has completely opened the state up and said that no city or municipality can go against his rule. No one can institute their own mask regulations or anything like that, because he has stated that it is no longer a worry here in the great state of Texas. So
man.
a guy that likes to tout about like small government, big government not getting involved, he sure loves to, just have his say as the king of Texas.
I was going to say, that sounds like a very authoritarian sort of statement right there,
Hey, man, he's a conservative Republican, sir. That's the way they like it.
Equals fascist, I guess.
Yeah, that's right there.
I don't know, man. Like up here, things are still pretty. We're opening slowly, and I like that. I'm happy about that, and people are still wearing masks, which is cool inside. Some people are wearing them outside. Some people are wearing them in their car, and I'm not criticizing anybody, man. You do whatever you need to do to make yourself comfortable, man. I'm not going to tell people what to do. And, but yeah, I feel pretty confident that things are going to be okay up here fairly soon. There was that big hardcore show that happened in Tompkins Square Park a few weeks ago that had everyone up in arms. And
yeah, that was a little wild, but a lot of that too just happened a little bit quick, and then a whole bunch of I don't know what's going on with John Joseph with his QAnon nonsense, but I don't know how much of that I would need in my life.
Well, yeah, for what it's worth, the visual on having a big ass show like that in the middle of the city is a little too early. Regardless of what your views are out there, if anyone's like, oh no, man, it's fine. Yeah, great, it may be, but as far as how it looks to the rest of the society and the neighborhood, it's probably would have been better to wait till at least June or something to try to pull something like that off, and then you get a fairly uninformed guy, like John Joseph out there who's spouting all this conspiracy bullshit. It's like, dude, you're lucky that guy motherfucker's lucky anyone even cares about him at this stage, man. He made that one record back in the 80s. You know what I mean? And it's right on, man, but be responsible. Regardless of what you think, what you feel. Maybe there's other people out there that have a different point of view, and you should respect what their opinions are,
Yeah, I'm all for everything opening, but opening at a safe pace, because this shit's not gonna go away. No, it's gonna take time before everything goes back to what the new normal is gonna be.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that was kind of I didn't realize it was going to be such a thing, but it turned out to be a thing, and I was like, damn. And then of course everyone piles on, then there's this green light, and then you get these rags like Metal Sucks, getting involved, and then next thing you know, you got this this event that people are throwing rocks at. So it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, it was kind of wild when I saw the video. I was like, "Holy shit, that's a ton of fucking people," and like not a mass to be
Yeah.
to be seen anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was outside, and I know some people that went to the show, and they were saying that, yeah, there were people wearing masks. It's just that they were on the outskirts. They weren't like, in the pit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and my thing is, it's just like, even if you're not into wearing a mask, I mean nobody likes wearing a fucking mask, but it may not be you that you're concerned about, that the next person you're around, that may have some immune issues, or something. I don't know. It just seems, I would err on the side of caution at this point, just to move things forward.
Sure. Now the new Triage record, I mail ordered mine, and I have it, as I mentioned earlier. Where could other people find this? Like, what are all the applicable sites, social media accounts, and places that they can either purchase the record digitally or as a hard copy?
Digitally, you can just go to Triage on Bandcamp, and you can get it digitally there. To get a hard copy of the actual vinyl, then you need to go to Roman numeral records for that. And with the vinyl, there's only 300 pressed. All are on blood red swirl, so it's like a limited, cool thing. But that's all we have right now. We're not on a we're not not on a label or whatever. We're just kind of doing shit on our own, and then Roman numerals helping us out, but we're not signed to anyone.
Are there any like Facebook or Instagram or like Parlor or anything like that where people can find you guys?
Yeah, Instagram. It's on Instagram, and I want to say it's on Facebook. Chris runs all that part of it, so I'm not really sure. But I know for sure it's on Instagram. And it may be. It should be on Facebook. I should say that. Um, but yeah, physical copies is through Roman numeral, and then digital is just through the Triage Bandcamp.
And everyone out there, I'm going to share the Bandcamp page on the Everything Went Black Facebook. So you guys out there, if you want to, just so you don't forget, you can go to Everything Went Black Facebook, and there'll be a link to the Bandcamp page once this episode goes up. So yeah, you guys out there, I got you covered.
Yeah, and Black Ops is on all that too. Physical copies of that, when it comes out, will be on Roman numeral. But we're on, Black Ops is on Facebook. Black Ops is on Instagram. All that fun, happy stuff.
Yeah, Black Ops though has been around for a lot longer, obviously, and
Yeah, we're about 5 years into it right now, and this new record is really one of the, I hate to be that guy, but it's like one of the proudest. I'm super super proud of this record. It sounds so good. It just turned out great, and I don't like bragging or anything, but man, it's just it's really good.
no, there's nothing wrong with that, man. I mean, it's like, to be happy with something that you put a lot of time and effort into. That's nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, it should be out soon, and I really think people are gonna dig it. It's different. I mean, you've seen us play. I mean,
Yeah.
we do weird shit, weird heavy shit. I mean, I play a theremin through a fucking full stack. Mark writes great riffs. I mean, it's crazy shit. We're trying to do something different, trying to do something that no one else has done before, and I think this new record's going to show that.
Now let me ask you a question about the Lost Well versus that venue. What the hell's it called? All That Jazz or whatever, that place that you don't go to whenever we play in town because you don't like the place.
Oh, come and fake it.
Is that what's it called again? Come and get it, or
Come and take it.
come and take it? Yeah. Now I didn't know about any of the drama. I just show up with, you know what I mean. I get like an address and a time and a date, and I
Oh,
just
oh
go.
yeah.
I go there because that's what you know. It's just a line item on a fucking schedule. So I don't know what's surrounding all that stuff. So is it what's the deal? Like you were telling me there's like some kind of issue with local bands and this particular venue, and you know, and the Lost Well is clearly more of like a, you know, kind of like an independent venue, you know. So
The Lost Well is one of my favorite places to see bands and to actually play. The venue's fucking great. Everybody that runs and works that place is fucking awesome. The sound system's good. It's just a good fucking, you know, badass fucking dive bar, you know. It's good. It's great for shows. Super fucking chill, you know. Where Come and Take It is like a giant, or I can't say giant, a bigger but like polished venue, and it's one of those things where it doesn't matter how accomplished your band is. You know, they just see that you're from here, and they're like, "Oh, you're just a fucking local band. We're going to give you 25 tickets to sell to your people, and what
that's
they do, and what they don't buy, you have to purchase."
okay. So this is interesting, man, because like, you know, anyone out there in like the Texas, you know, well, Texas is a big ass state, but like in Austin, the Austin area, keep that in mind
Yeah, so
next
you
time.
know, it's like that's how they can get bands
Yeah.
in there to play, is because they get these fucking younger bands and shit in there that are, you know, that these people are just trying to make it, you know. And it's just like, oh, and they get these kids, you know, where it's just like, oh well, you're pay it's pay to play. It's the oldest scam in the music business. It's pay to play is what it is.
Yeah, that sucks, man. I
Yes.
didn't, obviously I didn't know about any of these things, you know, and it's like, you know,
And I hope they've changed management and booking and all that shit since then. I mean, I don't know, but you know, the last time I dealt with any of those people, it was just like, you know, this whole like ticket sales, what you don't sell, you know, your fans are gonna come anyway. It's just like, I'm like, you sell tickets, that's what you do. I show up and fucking play, you know. This is how this works. We have a guarantee. I've toured all over the fucking place. I'm not some fucking 18-year-old kid in his first band that just got out of the garage. Like, I know how this fucking business works. You just don't understand the music business. This is common practice. And I'm just like, no, it's not. Like, you need to really kind of look into how this actually works and who you're working with, because you just sound like a fucking dick wagon, you know. One, you're trying to insult me, telling me I don't understand the business, you know, and it's, it's just like, you know, it's like this is a scam. It's pay to play. Nobody does that shit anymore. It's fucking shitty practice.
yeah,
So
that
I don't
sucks,
deal with it.
man. Yeah, I've seen shows at the Lost Well, man. It's a cool spot. I like that place, man. Like hopefully,
Lost Well fucking rules, dude. They're just now. Their anniversary party is in the beginning of August, and it's like fucking Goat Horse coming to play.
yeah, I saw that actually. I saw that today that they got a few dates announced, and that was one of the gigs. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm stoked for that. I love Lost Well, man. There's nothing better than that place.
Yeah, I'm hoping to make it down there and play, man. Like you know, if we ever come down there, just, you know, if we're on our own or doing like a smaller, you know, like a not opening for somebody else that would, whose agent would put them in that other venue. Yeah, I'd love to play that spot. Like I've said, I've been to a couple. I saw you guys play there, and I saw some other bands play there a couple times. I've been through town, and it's pretty nice spot, you know.
Yeah, I like it. I can't say enough about it. It's the best.
Yeah. Well, dude, thanks for you know, hanging out, talking, and you know, everyone out there, be sure to check out Triage. And like I said, I'll post some links on the Everything Went Black Facebook page. And yeah, I'm hoping to see you sooner than later, man. And hopefully we can all get through this.
Oh, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen soon.